Welcome back to the Urban Action Showcase and Expo Virtual Experience 2021. I'm your host, founder, and executive producer, Demetrius Angelo, and I did not lie. I said that Lady Dragon would be in the house, and lo and behold, she is here with us, ladies and gentlemen. Cynthia Rothrock, Grandmaster Cynthia Rothrock, World Champion Cynthia Rothrock, Queen of Action Cinema, Cynthia Rothrock, ladies and gentlemen, in the Dragon's Den. And of course, Jeof Vita, Kung Fu Drive-In Theater Podcast, is with us. And as I always do, I'm going to hand him the reins and let him do what he does. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Demetrius. Cynthia, good to see you again. There were a lot of titles there from Demetrius. Kung Fu film icon, action cinema pioneer, absolute legend, the Lady Dragon herself, Cynthia. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Listen, we're going to be talking about one of your films, Tiger Claws. It's the 30th anniversary. So I want to set the audience up here and play the trailer. So let's take that away. And all you guys out there in the audience, take a look.
On the streets of New York's Chinatown stalks a new and deadly killer. A serial killer on the loose with ancient martial arts skills. Now, two of New York's toughest cops must use all their skills, all their knowledge, and all their courage to catch Tiger Claws.
There must be 10,000 martial artists in New York alone.
He's not a lunatic, and he's not out of control, and that's what makes him so dangerous. Don't ever underestimate him.
You did that with a sword?
No, it's hand. It's Tiger Claws.
I've been accepted to train with them.
Defend yourself.
He came at me with the same pattern, but I need more time.
There's no more time.
Me and you are the same.
We're not the same.
Jalal Marai, Cynthia Rothrock, Bolo Young, Tiger Claws.
Cynthia, does that bring back any memories?
It does. I was like, oh, yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah, that hairstyle.
Tiger Claw is a fun bit of a 90s era psycho thriller, kung fu action. And we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, I want to add some more adjectives to that list that we blessed you with at the beginning of the show. Not just kung fu film pioneer, but world traveler and jet setter, I think would be fair. Because you are all over the globe, it seems, nowadays. For anybody that follows Cynthia on all her socials, all you see are pictures of Cynthia traveling and being gorgeous in these amazing locales. You posted a picture of a pink lake. Can you tell me where on the planet you were?
Yeah, I was in Mexico, and I went for a diving trip in Cozumel. And then I was going to stay in Playa de Carmen for a week. And so one of the things I wanted to do is dive in cenotes. I've never done that. And I had 2 days planned for that. So I'm trying to think what's kind of off the beaten path, because that's what I like to do when I travel, is not go to the typical things, the things that are off that beaten path. And someone mentioned, they said, well, there's a lake that's pink. And I said, a pink lake? And they showed me the picture, and I went, oh my gosh, I got to go there. I've never seen one. It was 3.5 hours away from where I was. So it was like a 7-hour round trip bus ride. And I ended up doing it because I was like, okay, I want to see a pink lake. But I mean, it was awesome. And that's one of the things I like to do, is I like to see things that, the average person doesn't get to see and experience things like such a phenomenon. There's only I think maybe there's one other place in the world that has that. And the reason the water is pink is because it's near a salt mine, and the pink is from the salt, right? And it's like the water, you cannot touch it because it's so salty, it'll burn you if you just put your hand in.
Oh, so you didn't actually dive into it?
No, no, you couldn't go in it at all. Yeah, no.
Instead, you
I did that once with Vince and Lynn. I went and we were in Cabo Verde, and it was a salt lake, and they're like, "Yeah, you can go in," and I'm like, "There's no bacteria in there, right?" And they're like, "No, no, no, right? It's salt. Nothing will live in this." And I went in, I came back, and I had a bacteria. I had like a parasite, and I said, "But there was no bacteria in there." And they're like, "What about the parasites that love salt?" And I went, "Oh my god, I never thought of that." So, one of the pitfalls of being an adventurer is that you end up picking up all sorts of weird things.
Oh, that's incredible, though. And you are definitely an adventurer and definitely off the beaten path kind of traveler. Did you jump into a cenote, or was it just one of the ones where you climb down and
No,
hop into
I
the water?
dived in it. And you know what? I didn't know what to experience because when my daughter was little, we were in Mexico and we just swam on top of a cenote, and I just remember it being beautiful. Well, the first one he takes us to is this big black hole, and I'm looking down going, "Oh my god, is that water clean?" Like that's the first thing I'm thinking. Where's this water come from? And I don't realize it is that we went down 98 feet and you're in an underground cave, and you don't just go down and then like look around and come up. You are going for an hour underground 98 feet. So you have a guide and there's a line there so nobody gets lost because they go into different cenotes, and you could end up somewhere, out of air or whatever. But I mean, it was definitely an experience for me, not anything I really thought it was going to be. But like if you look on Facebook on my pictures with the lighting, it's incredible. I felt like I was just in a different world, and I was like,
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be in a cave for an hour, like 98 feet down, swimming around. But there you go.
Of course, of course. Gregory Mosley in the chat makes a great point. He said there should be a new show, Traveling with Lady Dragon. I would absolutely watch that.
I would love to do something like that. It'd be nice to get paid for all these crazy things I do.
Well, speaking of off the beaten path, let's talk about Tiger Claw's 30th anniversary of that film. Like I said, 90s era action psycho thriller. We got to see a lot of 90s New York in that film. How did you get involved with that in the first place?
Well, I think, at that time, I just kind of left Hong Kong, and I was going to just work, here in America. And I did martial law 1 and 2, and then Tiger Claws came. And I met with Jalal because, he knew I was quite popular at the time. And he's like, I want to do a movie with you. And, we discussed what to do. And we did it, and it ended up being a trilogy. We did
Yeah.
3 of them, and the third one is really crazy because when he called me to do the third one, I was pregnant with my daughter.
Mhm.
And I was like, I can't do it till I'm pregnant. And then I says, well, maybe I can do it. And I said, but I can't fight. And I fought like crazy in it. It's like that once, that camera's on and you start fighting, you can't say, I can't fight strongly. I just had to give it my all. But yeah, so I'll never forget those.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before on the show. If missing tendons and broken ankles and legs won't stop you, I doubt a pregnancy was going to stop you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Now, where in your memory, in the pantheon of Cynthia Rothrock movies, does this sit for you? Are you fond of the film? Looking back on it now.
I am. For a movie that we really didn't think too much of it, people love it around the world. I still do interviews, about Tiger Claws, and they all know Tiger Claws, that movie, and I kind of base it on the experience I had on the film, and I had a great time like on those films with Jalal.
Yeah. Now, Jalal himself, kind of an interesting character, legit martial artist, but not as widely recognized for that as much as other people that you've worked with, maybe. But definitely a character unto himself. From what I understand, he sold his jewelry business to get into film production, and this was one of the big films that he wanted to get his company off the ground with. What was it like to work with him?
He was very eager. He just wanted to make the best film. He wanted to be an actor. And so he sold his business, to be it. Not that many people would do that. They don't have that drive and determination.
Yeah. What was it like mixing it up with him martial arts wise? You need some water there?
Sorry.
Do you need?
Sorry, guys. I have a cold.
Oh, hope you feel better. But what was it like to mix it up with him, martial arts wise?
He was a great martial artist. We had Bolo in it. That was fun. It was the first time I got to meet Bolo. And the cast, he had a wonderful cast. It was a nice experience. I mean, a lot of things that weren't so nice happened, but they were out of his control.
Like what? Can you get into any of that?
Gosh, I think I haven't talked this much. Yeah, like we would shoot in a warehouse and it was freezing. There was no heat. So I ended up pulling both my hamstrings.
Oh.
And then you have to go do all this kick. So I mean, it was just like little situations like that. Like we'd be outside and it was like 15 below zero. The weather was so cold.
Yeah.
Things like that. We didn't shoot it in let's say the greatest conditions that there was. So.
The perils of film work, right? Joe Robello in the chat said something that I was going to actually bring up too. He says, "I always like how you add real life elements of your life in a conversation you have in the film. You mentioned that you trained in Scranton, Pennsylvania."
Yeah, exactly. I got to throw that in there, and I also used my cousin's name, Kathy Markowski, and they're like, "Can we use that name? Can we use that name?" And they're like, yeah, okay, we could clear, because they got to clear every name that they did. And I remember when my cousin saw it with all her friends, she was like so excited, going, "Oh my God, my cousin used my name."
Now, of course, the big draw for a lot of fans was you and Bolo Young in the same film. That looked like it was going to be pretty cool. Had you known him before? You hadn't worked with him before, but had you known him at all? Did you travel in the same circles or work in the same circles at all before this?
No, I didn't know him at all, and I was really excited to fight him because I just came from Hong Kong, and when I was shooting martial law, a lot of the stuntmen were telling me not to hit so hard because in Hong Kong you hit hard. You get hit hard, you hit hard. And I remember Corey Yoon, his like famous saying to me was harder, Cindy, right? So I was hitting hard. And they were like, "No, you don't need to do that. You don't even need to touch us." And I'm like, "But you kind of have to so I could react to it." So here I am thinking, Bolo, oh, big, strong guy from Hong Kong. I can hit him as hard as I can. And he was like, no, don't touch. You don't need to touch me.
Really? He was that. I mean, he was Bolo. He was the badass from Bloodsport, and he didn't want to mix it up that hard.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, oh, okay.
Now, he didn't speak a lot of dialogue in the film. What was he able to speak a lot of English at all, or no?
No, at that time he didn't. He spoke some English, but not really a lot. So I think that's probably why he didn't have too many lines.
So what was it like then on set when you had to coordinate the fights and communicate back and forth?
Well, I came up in doing Hong Kong movies where mostly everybody didn't speak English. They only spoke Cantonese. And, action is universal. You really don't, you just got to look and copy and do it, and you understand how to move, you understand what to do. So I think that part is easy for someone if you're doing, you're filming, and you don't have dialogue and it's just action. To me, it's just like a universal silent language.
Yeah. Do you have any fond memories from that film, kind of offbeat memories from anything on set?
Yeah, I think I probably put this guy into therapy. I like to have fun on set, and I like to have a good time. When it comes time to work, you're serious. But they were telling me, they said about 4 people came up to me and they said it was a stunt guy I was fighting, and they said, "Cynthia, whatever you do, don't touch his hair because he's thinning and he's losing his hair." And he just said, "Make sure she doesn't touch my hair." Right? Well, sure enough, they put a scene in, where you grab the hair and you do a hit, right? And they're like, "But don't touch it. Just like put your hand on top." So they had this black wig in the dressing room. So I got some of the hair and I put it in here and I went like that. And I went, like that, like it was hair. Oh my God, I thought he was going to cry. And he was like so upset. He thought it was really his hair. And I was just trying to, be funny or whatever. That kind of backfired on me. So I mean, he probably, I don't know if I'm his like favorite person to this day for that.
Did you ever tell him or no?
Yeah, oh yeah, of course I did. I was like, no, 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 it was a wig. It's not your hair. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, okay, that was real funny, Cynthia. So,
You know,
someone did that to me, I would be hysterical. I would think, oh,
oh
how
yeah.
funny.
Yeah. No, that's great though. One of the things that we didn't get in the first film was that big Bolo Cynthia Rothrock finale fight. Um, Understandable. It was Jalal's film. He wanted to. I'm sure he wanted to be the hero in it. Did that come up in discussions at all? You're Cynthia Rothrock and it's Bolo Young. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's Jalal's movie. He's the star. I just go do my job and do what I got to do. Would I have loved to have done the big fight scene finale? Absolutely. But, it wasn't written that way and that's not what I signed on to do. So, I wasn't the director. Jalal was the director, the producer, and the star.
Right. So when you got that script though, and you looked at it, what made you think this is going to be something that I'm going to want to get involved with?
Well, I like the mysticism about it. The tiger claws and the Chinese philosophy mysticism. I like that. I like the fact that I get to fight with Bolo Young because I didn't really know him before. I just knew him like from like the big Chinese guy, and I was just excited to work with someone from Hong Kong again. And we were shooting it in I believe we shot it in Toronto, and I never shot a movie in Canada, so I was all excited about that. It's like, ooh, yeah, this is where Starbucks was originated. So I just I just thought, yeah, it's going to be a good project from
Yeah.
reading the script.
Got a question in the audience. Joe asks, after seeing Shang-Chi, do you see the homages to you and your body of work? Are you conscious of that kind of thing with big martial arts epics that are out there? Do you see the nods to what you've set in place?
Yes, yeah. When I see them, I haven't seen that film yet, so I can't really comment on it. But yeah.
Wait, one more question here. Were Tiger Claws 2 and 3 a better experience?
Uh, you know, uh, it wasn't. I didn't say it was a bad experience. They were all good experiences. I know we had a couple episodes where Bolo wasn't happy, and he actually ended up leaving set. And Jalal, there's scenes where you see him with the hood over him, and it's not really him.
Yeah.
It was like some kind of, I guess, financial agreement that they had that didn't come through right away. So, there was a little dissension there. And I felt sorry for Jalal because he was wearing all these hats and he had to, he was doing all this stuff. So that was like a little disconcerting, for us when that happened. But no, 2 and 3, when I go back, I think they all kind of blend into one movie. So it's hard to distinguish which was which was which. But I remember when I was doing Tiger Claws 1, I was used to having a choreographer choreograph all the sights, all my movements. And when we got there, we're all waiting and I'm looking around, everybody's looking at me. And I was like, where's the choreographer? And they're like, well, don't you do it? Don't you choreograph all your own fight scenes? And I was like, no, I don't. I said, someone else comes in, right? So they didn't have one. So I think the first fight scene I did is where I have a purse. So I kind of just choreographed it like a steel whip, like a Jackie Chan kind of thing, because that's like kind of the weird stuff I like to do. So that was an interesting thing for me. It's like, oh, okay, I have to do choreography too.
Absolutely a testament though to your mastery of the skill to be able to do that. But speaking of that, then, do you have a favorite fight or a really memorable fight from that film? There was a lot of, not a ton of action, not a ton of fighting in it, but there was a lot of good fighting in it. Was there any one that stands out to you as something that you remember?
Well, I remember that scene with the purse because it was a real purse, and I think it probably was my purse, and I had like a bunch of things in it. It was really heavy, and the guy's like, "Don't hit me with it." Yeah, and then I remember I think in the Tiger Claws 3, this was a funny story. I had a stick or something, and someone was shooting a spearhead at me, and I had to hit it, right? Just the spearhead. And they're like, "You're never going to be able to do that." And I said, "Well, you know what? Let's just try it," because they were going to stop it and, rig something up so it looks like he hit it. And I remember on the first take, whack, I hit it, and the spearhead went like flying across the room. I was like, "Oh my God, that didn't hit anybody." It's like, don't ask me to do that again. You did get that on film, right?
So you're obviously dangerous on set. No, I'm just kidding. That's great though. Somebody mentioned, I love this woman as a martial artist and a female action legend. I mean, that speaks for itself. When you are out and about, and
My cat.
what's that?
You see my cat? She's creeping in the
Oh,
chair. That's her chair.
that's great.
It's her massage chair.
When you're out and about now, all over the world, how often are you getting recognized as kung fu film icon Cynthia Rothrock?
I think like I just got recognized in Cozumel,
Hmm.
and I don't think people recognize me per se, but when they see my name, then they recognize it, and then word starts traveling throughout the resort and to different places. Oh, was it the Rothrock's in the house? So I think it's more a recognition of the name, and then they're like, "Are you Cynthia Rothrock, the action star?" Like, yeah.
Interesting. Oh, here's an interesting question here. The '90s were sort of a mecca for martial arts cinema on VHS. Do you think that martial arts cinema will make a comeback with all the various streaming platforms popping up?
I do. It's definitely making a comeback. I like just within the last 2 days got 3 offers to do 3 different movies.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's definitely coming back. And one is a really big project coming up. So I've seen it. I've been doing it for 30+ years, and it's been up and it's been down and it's been up and it's down, and luckily to say it's going up again. And I just hope that the more it goes up, the more people want to do projects and the more projects we see. But they have to be good projects, because when projects start coming out that aren't good just to get them done, and someone's trying to make a quick buck, or it doesn't come out how you want, then that's what causes it to go back down again.
Sure,
So we've
sure.
got to make sure that it's great, it's all coming up again, but that the quality is good.
We were just talking about Shang-Chi. It's a huge budget, big Marvel production that has martial arts right front and center throughout the whole thing. Are there any projects out there right now, ones that you're not involved with, where you're that gives you hope for martial arts cinema, action cinema right now?
You know what? I've just been seeing it's just getting more, it's getting bigger and bigger. And especially, like you said, because of all the platforms now, everybody wants, more programs. So you see a lot more action. I think we're in a really good period, for someone not like myself. When I was first starting, it was really hard to have a lot of action movies. I mean, there
Yeah.
weren't that many, there weren't that many opportunities for people. And now, there's so many opportunities, and people are like, "Why aren't you on that TV show? Why aren't you on that TV show?" It's like, God, they didn't call me. I don't know why I'm not on it. If I'd be on it, if I could, But yeah, the more you see and the more popular the movies are. I mean, I remember when I first saw The Kingsman. Remember when that movie came out? I
Yeah.
loved the action in that, and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, because that's the kind of action I like to do. So I was so excited about that. So action sells. Everybody likes action,
Sure.
but it's got to be good action.
It's got to be good action. Yeah, I was gonna say that, because you can put out a lot of bad action, and an hour and a half of really bad action is just gonna be an hour and a half of wasted time, right? So the other thing that is nice in this particular era is that there are a lot of options for creators to not necessarily have to go through Hollywood or the big studios to get stuff out there. Have you been keeping your eye on things like that, where there are creators just kind of putting stuff out on YouTube and really kind of knocking your socks off with the action that they're putting out?
Well, yeah, I mean, look at Cobra Kai, right? That started
Yeah.
it all. Everybody's like, "Wow, good story, brilliant idea," and look how big that is now, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so many platforms and there's so many not experience, but talented directors out there, writers out there, martial artists out there. Now's the time to do it, you know? Like, you do something phenomenal and it goes viral, you know, there's a ticket easily made. But the more we see this, the more I see, the more creative people are getting, and it's awesome to see how everything is uplifted. You know.
Yeah. Speaking of uplifting, I don't know if you saw that comment flash across the screen there, Chisholm Jerry. Welcome, dear sister Grandmaster. You were tougher than nails and pioneered very strong physical standards. You really raised the bar and it hasn't come down. We love you, wishing you blessings and continued health and strength from Lady Sensei and the Women's Martial Arts Network. That's pretty
Oh,
cool.
thank you. I love her, and I love what she does for women, and she truly is a role model. I bow to her, and I have the same feeling she has for me, but for her in a different perspective. So, it's just phenomenal to promote women, you know, to help them with their dreams. Because like when I was coming up, even in competition and in movies, I had to fight. It was so hard, and that's why a lot of the times it's like, well, why weren't you fighting Bolo? Well, because I wasn't Jalal Mary, you know what I mean? It's, you could fight and you're really good, but the guy's going to come in and save the day in the end, you know? And, you know, but that doesn't have to be like today, you know? And especially, you know, what I'm so proud about is seeing women filmmakers, you know, directing. I'm one of the judges for the UK for Film Fest, and there's so many women up and coming, you know, in all different fields. So it's great to see that. It's really great to see it coming from, you know, a position where it was very women were such a minority, and it's good to see, you know, everybody having faith in themselves and realizing talent doesn't matter who you are, but if talent is talent.
Yeah, we just had a panel on the femme fatales, women in action cinema, and the director of Never Back Down Revolt is Kelly Madison, wonderful director, happens to be a female, and a big female cast as well. So, but all of that is built upon what you set down. So, of course, props to everything that you've done to make that happen.
I've tried. I have, right? And I still doing it, still
Yeah.
still out
Well, that's another thing too. I mean, you're still doing it. And someone asked this in the chat. How have you stopped time and stay in shape and keep your flexibility and continue to have that drive to keep making films and showcasing your stuff?
Well, you know, one of the things is that really bothers me is when people associate age, you know, like you can't do that, you can't do that. And I'm like the kind of person is I can do whatever I want to do or can do, you know, and I don't like it if people tell me you can't do something. So I try, you know, one of the reasons I like to show people when I do extreme adventure is that, you know, no, not everybody can get out and do it, but you have to live life how you want to live it, you know, and you can't let anybody else say, like so many times I hear, even my good friend Don Wilson, you know, I'm always like, Don, stop saying that. He's like, Don's like, I'm old. And I'm like, well, we're close to the same age, but I would never say that, you know? And I'm like, he's like, I'm on the last third of my life. It's going to be relaxing and easy, you know? And it's just different mentalities, you know? I think I try to stay positive. I try to be a positive influence to people. And if I can give back to someone, whether it's martial arts wise, it's positive wise, you know, just a uplifting little smile or make someone happy, I feel I'm giving back, which, you know, I want to do, you know, as we get older, we want to, you know, give back as much as we can. And that's what I tried to do, you know, is that, yeah, you know, I have a bad knee, but I've had it for 40 years and I still do what I do, you know, and I don't let anything get me down, you know, and I think the key is to keep yourself fit because we got to stay healthy, you know, and, you know, eat fairly good. I eat fairly good. I do drink a lot of coffee, but, and a few glasses of wine here and there. But, you know, I think life is how we perceive it. And no matter, everybody has bad things happen. Trust me, I have like so many bad things happen to me, but you can't dwell on negativity, and you got to look at the good things in life. And to me, I really think that's what keeps me happy and positive. And when you love life and you love people and you like to give back, it gives you an aura that people can pick up, and they want to be around you. And that's what I try to do for people.
Your attitude is infectious, and you're continuing to inspire. There are a lot of female action stars that are coming up now that all always point to you as the inspiration for them. Do you get to connect with a lot of these action stars coming up and hear about your inspiration to them?
I do, like if I go to a film festival and I get to meet some of the actors or some of the directors. I'm not the kind of person, I'm not a big Hollywood person. I don't like to go to big Hollywood parties and do all that. I'd much rather be hiking in the backwoods, something like that. So that's kind of where I don't get out and I meet a lot of people. But when I do get out, like even at like the Urban Action Showcase, when we're live on that gives me the opportunity to meet a lot of people. And I meet a lot in seminars, if I'm doing a choreography seminar or a martial arts seminar, and then I become friends and I try to help out anybody I could. But as far as being out there, yeah, you'll see me more like hiking or diving than out there schmoozing.
I wish we could. What would be your best piece of advice to action stars coming up to maintain the longevity that you are currently enjoying?
Well, the longevity. Okay, yeah, that's another issue. Like a lot of people say, how have you been able to sustain so long, right? When other people haven't. And I think it's just, I love what I do. And I love to interact with my fans and with my friends. And if you do that, you're always going to have the support of people because you're, giving back to them and they're giving back to you. And I think, you just stay out there and do what you love doing. That's what it is. If you say, all right, I'm not going to do this, like some martial arts people, they might have been a champion a while back. And then now nobody knows them because they're not out there. They're not doing anything, well, that's why you have to stay current. You have to stay current.
All right. So speaking of current stars, are there any female action stars that you kind of follow today and you're like, watch her, she's going to be amazing?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say I follow people, but I see things that people do, and if I get a chance, I'll say, hey, wow, that was awesome. Very proud of you. And then they're happy, they're happy. Oh my God, Cynthia Rothrock did that. I guess I would. I mean, if you wanted to name a few people right now, I don't know, because there's so many. Like I said, there's so many women out there, my friend Anita Clay, she came from there, right, and doing stunts and stuff like that, and I just think, you have to be good at what you do, and you have to be able to work with everybody, even though sometimes situations aren't good. You can't you just got to take it. You just got to, no attitude, no ego, no jealousy, and just, go and do the best you can and be the best person you can be.
Again, for anybody that follows your socials, you've been dropping some hints about things that you're working on. You're working on some kind of secret project out in Vegas. Can you drop any more hints about that at all?
We kind of went live with it yesterday.
Excellent.
Yes, I am doing Black Belt Theater. I am hosting it with Stefan Johnson.
Awesome.
Who is a comedian voiceover who is not a martial artist. So it's kind of funny. We have a lot of banter going back and forth because I'm the martial art authority and he's more like the food authority, right? So we shot 6 episodes and I believe they might start airing on Jungo. You could get that on my website. It's free. It's a free app, and you can watch all these martial art movies and all these programs. And I think it might air this November. And then we're going back and we're shooting 6 more. So I'm really excited because I've dabbled like doing shows, with my friend Trina here and there, but this is, this is more real in a nice studio. And, I have to do my homework and watch all these martial art films that I forgot, it's like the Chinese connection is like, and then I'm watching in my room, like all these old movies, it's bringing back good memories.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So,
and then I think they're going to do one of mine. I was like, oh my gosh, that one's going to be the funniest yet. I think they're trying to get
they have to. They have to, right? They have to.
Well, they did actually. We did do Showdown in Manila. I was in that one. Yeah, so that's one of them up and coming. But it's a fun show, and I'm really, really excited about it. So I hope you guys, when it airs, watch it. And yeah, Black Belt TV, so Black Belt Theater.
That's cool. Do you have any details on where or when?
Not yet. I wasn't able to mention anything until it went live yesterday. George Chung, phenomenal martial artist and good friend of mine, is producing it. And I think he was trying to see if something may be out around Bruce Lee's birthday, but I'm not sure. So I haven't had a date yet, but as soon as I find out, I'll put it on social media.
Awesome. So we'll be looking out for that. What else do you have going on? What other projects are you working on that you can talk about?
I have a Western that's going to be coming up, which is going to be interesting. I just had to turn down a part, and I hate doing that because it was with Tom Sizemore, and he's an actor that I really like. And it was an acting part. And coming back from Mexico, I got sick. I had a fever, and I said, I'm sorry. I didn't want to get anybody sick, even though I wanted to do it, and I'm thinking, can I do it? Can I do it? And I was like, no, with our health standards now, you have to be good. I did have a COVID test. It was negative, but still, you can see I still have that little bit of a cough. And I said, you know what? That's the perils of diving in cenotes. But would I give that up for that? No.
Absolutely not. What about travels? Do you have any interesting travels coming up? Any more cool places?
I was supposed to go to Egypt next week.
Wow.
On another dive trip, but I canceled that because I think I'm kind of thinking I have something bacteria in my regulator, so I'm on that verge because twice I got sick from diving, and I think something is with my regulator going on. So I canceled that, but I do have a big hike coming up in December into Death Valley. I'm going to be backpacking for 5 days. And then in January, a dive trip in Maldives, and be at the Action Martial Arts Hall of Fame in January. And so that's coming up. It's all exciting. And of course, I head to Vegas another about 2 weeks to do some more of Black Belt Theater. So busy, staying busy.
Of course, because you're Cynthia Rothrock, of course. There's actually a question, Renee Grayson in the chat. When did you know that this is what you wanted to do?
Well, here's the funny thing. I actually got involved in movies by mistake. They were looking for a guy to be the next Bruce Lee, and I was on the West Coast demonstration team, and I went down and they hired me. So I thought I was going to go and do one movie, which was Yes, Madam with Michelle Yeoh, and that would be it. I didn't really foresee a career in film, although every, I think, girl or guy has a dream they'd like to be in a movie with Jackie Chan. That's what he was like my hero, and I wanted to be in a movie with Jackie Chan. But when I did it, I thought that was just going to be it, and I thought, oh, wow, what a great experience. I could tell my child someday I was in a movie in Hong Kong, and that movie became a big hit. And then I got offered from Golden Harvest to do 3 movies. And at that time, that was my last year of competing because I wanted to retire undefeated for 5 years. And that was coming up. So when I thought, I would just concentrate on my martial arts school. But then it transitioned into that. So after I did Yes, Madam, my next movie was No Retreat, No Surrender 2. Then at that point, I've realized, this is what I'm supposed to do, because for 5 years, all I did was teach and compete. That was it. So pretty soon, I realized I love this and I want to do this.
And the fans love you. And speaking of that, there is a way for fans to connect with you and more in a more personal way. The Dragon's Den VR experience and fan experience. Can you tell us a little bit about that so that the fans can get in touch?
Okay, so Cynthia, I'm not sure if you've seen it. I kind of showed it to you through video. So
Yeah, I can
now,
see it.
oh yeah, okay, cool. So basically, this is what we call 3D gamification. So if you're on your computer, your laptop, desktop, phone, or tablet, right? You simply just check out. You walk around. You can use the arrow keys. You can use your WASD keys. But basically, it's a tribute to your martial arts. It's a tribute to your films. So on this floor, it's more about martial arts. We do have a couple of films, see you in Black Belt Magazine. And of course, this tribute right here, very famous tribute, the original Atomic Blonde tribute. So if no one's seen that before, you can watch it in here. But as you travel, you go up to the next level, Lady Dragon 2. Boom. Here, now we're looking at a lot of her films throughout the years. You can actually decide what do you want the background to look like. So if you want the city or you want Hong Kong, you just click it and Hong Kong will be in the background. All your social media is here for people to follow you, YouTube, and of course, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And of course, as you see, 30th anniversary Tiger Claws here. And of course, your iconic Lady Dragon 2 films. And we still have your tribute video as well. And then what fans can do is they can come to the events tab, the drop down menu says Celebrity Fan X and Dragons Experience here. And then they can sign up to get like a personal message or something like that from you. And that's it.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's it.
I'm like, that's awesome. Well, wait a minute, that's me, but that's awesome.
Yeah, but wait till you see it actually in VR. So that the cool thing about this is that it's also VR. So if you have an Oculus Quest or Oculus Quest 2, when you can literally be what we call full immersion. So you can literally walk into there. So if you go into your room, the ceilings are 30 feet high. So you're looking around like this. The whole thing is just, you know, it's engulfing you. So it's a really immersive experience.
Wow.
So if you've heard talk about the metaverse, this is your introduction into the metaverse right here.
Okay.
And you can be fully immersed in the world of Cynthia Rothrock, which is not a bad place to be.
No, not at all.
Unless you're 98 feet down under a cave.
Or unless we're fighting you, apparently, since you like to hit hard.
Exactly.
But Cynthia, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk. I hope you feel better soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I hope you continue with your adventures out there on the global stage as well as on the Hollywood stage. Always look forward to all of your projects and always look forward to the ways that you will continue to inspire the next generation of filmmakers and action stars. So thank you so much for taking the time out to talk. It's been great seeing you again.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for having me. Love being here. And I would say thank you to everybody out there and God bless and be safe.
Absolutely. Once again, guys, Jeof Vita, Kung Fu Theater Drive-In Kung Fu Drive-In Theater podcast. You guys check that out. I'm going to put it in the chat. It's part of the top 2% when it comes to the action podcast. Check that out. And of course, follow Cynthia on Instagram and of course on Facebook. And tomorrow, 3 p.m., we've got Tiger Claws 30th anniversary screening in VR.
Ooh.
So you guys can, so you guys can go into our screening room or into what we call the Cove VR experience and watch it there. So until then, everybody stay safe and Cynthia, get well very soon.
I will. I feel great. I feel great. It's just a little cough, so I'm doing good. That's why I have my tea here.
All right. All right. So we'll see you next time, everybody. God bless.
And thank you to all the fans for the questions. You guys stay safe. Thank you, Demetrius.
You're welcome.